So I was just on my own for a while, maybe about 10-15 minutes, and I thought of a few questions that I will be asking, explaining, but not answering because I don't know the answer. I'd like to hear opinions from people who happen to watch this video, see if you agree with what the question's insinuating. Let's just start, get to it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions. Okay. Question number 1. Does the human condition make it such that if the extraordinary happens often enough, it will inevitably become ordinary to us, always? What I meant by this is value is linked to scarcity. So that's a basic principle of economics. However, taking a more philosophical approach, I was trying to ask, no matter how many scientific breakthroughs we achieve, invent, and discover, life will always generally feel the same. On an individual level, you can cite concepts like hedonic adaptation as to how the human psyche can adapt to almost any situation it's put in. Question 2. What am I doing differently that differentiates me from those wanting to lead a normal life? That was me asking myself, or hoping to ask you as well, how are you leading your life such that by whatever metric you're measuring your life by, how are you going to be extraordinary in that aspect? Of course, there's two sides to being extraordinary. You can be extraordinarily shit, but you can also, obviously, the one you want to be extraordinarily good at whatever it is. And I think there's a lot of intrinsic reward you can get from just being better than other people. I don't know what it is. It's nothing malicious, but I think at least for me, I get into flow more when I can see I'm dominating the competition. Question 3 of 8. What have I done so far at university, to rationalise me not being where I had planned to be on the 22nd of November, 2024? Is it YouTube, boxing, entrepreneurship, accountability planner? Now, this post-it is a more personal question, and it's referring to what have I done as actions to prevent me from basically self-destructing on me not being where I had planned to be at this current point in my life. And you can attack that from many different angles as to what I would justify as meeting the criteria I'd set myself prior to coming to university. But I think it happens with everybody. If we don't achieve something that we set out to achieve, we take two paths. We either just accept it, and that's attacking it at the root cause, attacking the disease. Or you can put on bandages and treat the symptoms, but not really treat the disease. You can use painkiller, but the painkiller is not going to get rid of the virus or bacteria. And I just wanted to make sure, even if they're good habits, what I am doing is not just trying to hide from me going through the process, the emotional process of accepting the current state I'm in. Question 4 out of 8. We're halfway there. Well, after this. If utopia is impossible, are we not already, right now, the closest to utopia we will ever get just by being alive? So by this I'm meaning, with each problem solved, more problems which are more complicated arise. I'll give you one big example. Famine, starvation, mass poverty, whatever you want to call it, bringing people out of poverty. That's a great problem solved. But I sure as hell know there aren't mental health issues in places where trying to survive is the main goal. And why is this? I think it's linking back to the human condition. But I still realize that creating or solving problems only creates new ones. Another example which just came into my head is how people get richer. The more rich you get, it becomes a certain point where accruing so much wealth actually makes more problems and more complicated problems arise as a result. And whatever I do in my life, I'll always be willing and wanting to take at least a month out of my life to just step back, just survive, and be able to, because it's really good for perspective, I think, as well. So whether that's like living in Alaska, like it'd be so sick just to like build a hut just to survive in, because I think it's really good for the human mind to just remember that all of this, you can't take all of this for granted. And just going out to like a jungle, surviving there for a month, or going to like Alaska and hunter-gathering, just fucking chilling, bro. Like, I think it's a really, really, at least how I see it, it'd be a very healing experience, I think. I didn't explain it that well. I hope you got the message. Question 5 out of 8. Can anyone really define what a wasted life is? In a vacuum, I mean, on its own. Because if anyone thinks yes about that, I would like to know how. Can't really exonerate that more. That was just in comparison to, of course you can say a life has been wasted in comparison to another, where the conditions are the same, the circumstances are the same, but in a vacuum, I'd like to know if anyone can justify what a wasted life is. 6 out of 8. Did I just get invested in power because I was lost? Or maybe I felt like I was out of control. Now, in Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, in the preface, the preface, because it's not fiction. Fiction would be prologue, but it's not fiction. He mentions how power is something people are willing to obtain so they feel like they're in control. And in Mark Manson's Everything is Fucked book, he also mentions how for us to have hope, we need to be in control, along with 2 other things. But to have a sense of control is fundamental to the well-being of the human psyche. And if learning about power and reading about power is an activity where I could be assured that I was gaining knowledge about this area, was that also another rationalization of the situation I was in? Who knows? Question 7. If you are alone for long enough, does your creativity increase as a result to compensate? This was just me thinking. I'm a bit conflicted about this one because I think creativity is just an iteration of things which have already existed, maybe. But I don't know. I thought maybe if you're so unstimulated, you have to sort of create your own stimulation. And don't take that the wrong way, but what I mean by that is, I'll give a quick example. When I was waiting, I was near hospital, and I felt ill, so I had to stay out the hospital. But I was waiting for my family to get back, and that whole time I was feeling so bad. But I got through it just because I sang to myself the whole time. And I was singing the songs I knew, like loads of different songs that were just going through my head, popping in my head. And I was modifying them in ways, and I could sort of like observe what I was doing with these songs and be like, wow, this is like, it doesn't sound like that bad. And of course I could have been just delusional, but I don't know. I think if you have no other choice, creativity can almost be induced from someone under particular circumstances. Final question. If I had a childhood filled with more risks, experiences, stories, memories, and tomfoolery, would I have an objectively better, more developed character or personality? I don't know if a lot of young adults or old children, legal children, have a similar mindset where they're sort of constantly checking whether they've really lived their childhood to the fullest. And what I'd say to that is, really just don't worry about it. Because the more you get caught up in trying to live your best life, the more it detracts from living an objectively better life. Now, if you're doing activities or engaging in activities which are obviously detrimental to you, of course, halt these right now. That's scrolling on TikTok, that's like whatever. But just, I mean, I'll put it into like how I put it in the thing, in the post-it note. Take risks, obviously, with like reason. You need to have like, don't take like risks which are just straight up stupid. Use your cognitive reasoning. Have more experiences, have more stories to tell, have more memories, because memories over materialism will always win happiness. And tomfoolery, which is just fooling around. That is the whole video. This has actually been a really long one. Wow. I need to get going now. I've got boxing. I need a cold shower, literally, because I haven't had one yet today. But yeah, catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed this video, actually. Just sort of like dissecting and pulling apart assumptions in my life, which I had placed there. Let me know if you liked it.